Royal Frenchel traits. They're a bit unusual because they're broader than the average breed you might be used to. And that's a very specific reason for that. Royal Frenchels were created with a much larger gene pool. They're made of 3 to 4 different breeds. They're a hybrid created for longevity, health, and the most wonderful personality you'll ever know in your life. They're companion dogs. Royal Frenchels were created predominantly to be geared towards service work. They were an inspiration, and it came out so much better than I could have ever figured out intellectually. One of the great traits of a Royal Frenchel is that a Royal Frenchel has a sensitivity to whatever other creature it's living with. If it's a human being, it will seek you out and learn where your thresholds are for tolerance levels for play, tolerance level for noise, tolerance levels for snuggle time, and they'll get as much of that as they can. They'll also be able to do that with other pets. We place a lot of Royal Frenchels with people that have older dogs, diseased dogs, or dogs that are terminally ill. And Royal Frenchels that go with those dogs, they push their limit once or twice and then they completely back off, and they become the most loving and wonderful caregivers to those dogs and animals. We have dogs that have done that with pigs, with cats, and with other dogs. But for instance, we have a dog in Connecticut that went to be with a dog that had their hip sockets removed, and his name is Banjo. Well, maybe one day we'll get a little video clip from them and they can tell you how good Banjo is with their dog. He's pretty wonderful. So that's something you want to be able to know, is that if you have children, or if you have an older senior in your home, or if you happen to be a senior. I went through life changes, obviously, in the 53 years that I've raised dogs. And I love the smaller dog now in a lot of ways. It's got a big dog personality, but not overly big. And it's got a small requirement for me physically, which I really, really like. Let's see, what other things can I tell you about the traits of a Royal Frenchel? As I shared with you, they were bred for service work. That's what originally inspired the line, was to have a service dog that could go in and out of hospitals and work with cancer patients and be there. And that meant that you didn't want a dog that was going to be stubborn. You didn't want a dog that was going to run from you or trick you into getting what it needed. You wanted a dog that was going to be completely dedicated to you, interested in you, wanting to work for you and be part of your plan for the day. And that's the perfect description of a Royal Frenchel. They're easy, they don't eat a lot. When they're traveling, they tend to cut back on their food and water even. It's astounding to see. In the last many years, I've seen many people who travel with their Royal Frenchels, and their Royal Frenchels tend not to eat or drink much. They almost kind of go into a sort of a strange hibernation when you travel or when they go to work, etc. Always make sure you give them a lot of water, a lot of food before you go, and when they return, because they really tend not to when they're traveling, which makes your way a lot easier when you're traveling as well, because you don't have to carry lots of food. Their size really makes travel easy in cars, on airplanes, trains. Eddie has gone everywhere with me. Escalators, elevators. It's pretty neat stuff to have a Royal Frenchel and travel with them.